do I not get attached quite so easily when I'm dating? This is a question I received in my Instagram DMs, and it seemed like a really, really great place to explore this in our Q&A series. If you have any Q&As for me, drop them down in the comments below. You can also slide into my DMs and ask the question there. Myself or one of the team will get back to you. So early attachment, what I interpret this to be is this pattern of kind of clinging to a new partner, expecting more from them than they're able to give given the time period. So what does that mean in actual reality? It means you've gone on one date and you see them as a boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't really know them that well, but you find yourself thinking about them a lot. It can also look like having a strong emotional connection, even though you might not really know them like that yet. That's what early attachment is. So it's interesting with this. And it's a great question asked by a lady who, I'm not sure if she wants her name revealed, so I'll redact it right now. It's a great question. It's something that's really, really common in dating. Now, when we're approaching this, you might think, you know, what do I need to do? How do I not get attached so easily? But it's less about the how and it's more about the why. For those of you that have been around here for a while, you'll know my MO, my modus operandi with my work generally is going back to the scene of the crime. Apparently there's some kind of CSI theme today. It's going back to the scene of the crime and trying to figure out, well, why is this happening and when did it start? Where did it come from? So this is linked to early attachment issues in childhood. We naturally go through a process of detaching from our parents and being separate from our parents. Obviously, when we're babies and when we're toddlers, we're very, very highly dependent on our parents for survival, and eventually we go through this process of separating from them and being a separate person. That does usually happen around 3, 4, especially when that's when we're going to school, etc. We become a slightly separate entity, and there's more differentiating that happens, particularly as we reach that teenage stage and we learn how to be our own person, our own adult in the world. If that process gets interrupted, you stay emotionally at that age when the process got interrupted. So that means in love we can feel very very small, very vulnerable, and that might be because inside emotionally we're going back to that time of being 3 or 4 years old, or we're going back to being in our teens, or whatever age the process got interrupted for you. And it's really not important to know exactly at what pin drop in time it happened, but just know that emotionally that's where you're going back to, and that's why you cling, because you feel afraid. Now, I've got a couple of questions for you. Obviously, we can't go back in time. We can't go back and wish that it was different or change what happened. But what we can do is we can be our own parent now. So here are some questions for you. Whose love did you crave the most as a child? Who didn't you receive love from when you were small? And were you abandoned, or did you feel abandoned? What happened? And when you experience that, what emotions come up for you? As you're learning about this now, how are you feeling? What emotion is most present for you? Is it sadness? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it a bit of an anxious feeling? Can you give that emotion a name? And can you feel it now in your body? Don't just kind of make it an intellectual exercise, but actually feel that emotion in your body now. That is the work of going back and seeing where it came from. The other work to do is asking questions specific to dating. So those questions are, what are you afraid of? In the present moment, when you're attaching early to a partner, what are you afraid of? Because usually that's what's happening. We're afraid of something occurring, so we attach to them because we're afraid that, for example, they might leave. So if you're afraid that they might leave, what happens if they leave? What is that going to result in for you? How will you feel if they leave? How able are you to emotionally regulate, to help yourself feel better once they've left? I'm willing to bet what it is in the present, without going back to all the past stuff, but just as a very surface level thing, what you're trying to avoid is that feeling of pain when they leave, because you do not want to feel that, because that brings up all the stuff from the past. So, two-pronged approach to this. Find out why it's happening and where it came from. Go back to that, go through the questions. And the other thing is to ask those questions today of what are you trying to avoid and what you're afraid might happen, what is causing you to cling and attach early in this specific dating situation. If you need more on this, I do have a course in the School of Cheryl, and that course is on emotional regulation. That's really going to help you go through this process of understanding your emotions and how you feel. Because when you can really master your emotions, no one has the power to really control you or control your actions or your emotions, or cause you to stay in a situation that's not good for you, or cause you to attach early because you know how to help yourself feel better. And so what it sounds like is they might leave. They might not be a good fit in the end. And that's probably going to hurt. I'm probably going to feel sad about it for a little while, and that's okay. I know how to take myself through that sadness. I also know that there's lots and lots of people that I'm compatible with. So if it's not this person, it's someone else. And yeah, if it didn't work out, then it would suck because I think we're a great fit. I would be sad if it didn't work out. I'd be disappointed. But I can weather it. I've been through worse. I've got me. I know how to go through the process, and it's going to be okay. So when you come at it from that angle, there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of choice in that. And that is really what it's all about. It's really about having that solid relationship with yourself, so you don't have to be in these situations anymore where it feels like someone has all of this power over you. I hope this week's video was helpful. If it is, give me a thumbs up and share the video. If it wasn't, you can certainly let me know in the comments below. It helps tickle the algorithm either way, so it's totally fine. And yeah, do let me know if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. You can drop them down below. Or DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Cheryl J. Muir. I'm also on Twitter. My handle there is Cheryl J. Muir. And my website is cherylmuir.com. Cherylmuir.com is also the place where you find details of how to work with me, including the info for School of Cheryl. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.